A product I've been banging on about now for a long time, especially on the podcast, by the way, if you haven't listened, I'll leave a link down below, is this, Carplan's No1 Super Gloss. This is cheap, easy to use, and gives good results. So I'm telling everyone, in fact, fun fact, this is the first product I ever reviewed on this channel. And I've been telling people for years, it's a brilliant product. Why would you not use it? Have it in your arsenal. Well, what's interesting is that they came out with a newer version or a newer alternative. I'm not entirely sure what it is. This is Carplan No1 Super Ceramic. Now it's got the ceramic buzzword, but at the time of filming, this is 3 times the price of No1 Super Gloss. So the question is it worth it? Does it give interesting or better results? We're going to test it on my test panel over here, and you're going to find out. So like I said, it's got the buzzword ceramic in it. But when you read the label a bit closer, you find out there's more to it than that. It says it's a powerful blend, a hybrid blend of SiO2 and wax. SiO2 is the ceramic component, but there's wax in there. So this makes me think, is this just a ceramic wax rather than a super ceramic sealant? I'm not entirely sure. That's got to be found out in this video. Exceptional beading, enhanced colour and shine. This is all on the label. That sounds very much like a wax to me. Can be applied over existing treatments. That's useful. So it's maybe more of a topper rather than a base coat. Maybe this is something you add on top of something like No1 Super Gloss. And can be used on paintwork, wheels, rubber and plastic trim. That's fine. One thing I will say that's interesting about the label back here is it does say that there is no professional application needed, but to get the best results, you are to apply this and let it cure for 2 hours and then apply a second coat of it. So that is very wax sounding to me. Whereas No1 Super Gloss, you can spray this on like water, wipe it over, buff it off, walk away, it's done, it's cured, it's ready to go, you don't need to do anything else. Could these work side by side? Yes, because this is a topper, you could put this on first and then put this on afterwards if you want that extra beading. But I'm going to test them both side by side. We're going to check the water repellency, how well do they bead, do they sheet, however do they react to water on them, and also a chemical test to find out, does one die sooner than the other? Basically to find out if this is negatively affected by chemicals over this one. That's all coming up. And also, just a quick note, if you can't find No1 Super Gloss for cheap, you might be able to find T-Cut Final Glaze because it's the same product. Okay, so as we have them laid out, this is going to be the left side here, the No1 Super Ceramic. The right side will be the Super Gloss. I'm going to go Super Ceramic on this side. It's already opened and the spray trigger is primed. So what I'm going to do is add a couple of sprays onto the panel and a couple of light sprays onto the towel. That's to make sure that the towel doesn't absorb all of the product. And then I'm just going to spread evenly up and down, left and right. So a cross hatch pattern, just to get even coverage either side here. This goes on really well actually. No complaints about this application. It's really smooth. It does seem to evaporate away mostly. It is a warm day, so I'm kind of expecting that. But that goes on really nice and smooth. You could use 2 towels, one to apply and one to remove, but I just flip to the dry side and I can feel there's an instant slickness difference right there. Very simple, no streaking, no smears, no weird looks, very easy to apply and remove. So this time on the right hand side, No1 Super Gloss. I've used this many times. I know exactly how well this goes on. It's like working with water because it is just so wet and runny, and it feels like you're just applying water onto the panel. Simple spray, wipe over both directions, no real effort, no pushing. Again, most of it pretty much evaporates away, which is brilliant, makes it incredibly easy to use. Quick flip over, instant slickness, and that's done. So to give the products a fair chance, I'm going to let this panel sit here for the next 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, to let this left side cure properly. and then we'll come back to it and find out how repellent the water is on there, and also if it does any change to the look of the panel, and then the chemical test. Right, let's have a look at the hydrophobics then. So I've switched the pressure washer off. I'm just going to spray some low pressure water on here just to have a look and see if there is a noticeable difference. Alright, so my first impressions, and I may need to take you closer in on this, is that the left side here with the No1 Super Ceramic, those beads are really tight, like really round, perfect balls. Over on this side with the No1 Super Gloss, the beads are nice, but they're less tight. They're a little looser, oddly shaped, but I'm also noticing slightly larger gaps between the beads. So here there are lots and lots of beads of lots of different sizes, but lots of very, very small ones. And over here, they tend to be a bit larger. That is relatively indicative of this having wax in it, whereas this side is just a sealant. But let's come in a bit closer so you can really enjoy these, because I do love a nice water bead. So these are the beads over on the No1 Super Ceramic side, and you can see they're all relatively uniform in their shape, different sizes, some larger than others, but generally a good shape, and lots of little small ones. And then we come over to the No1 Super Gloss side. They are slightly different, they're slightly larger in some aspects. Don't see so many small ones. There's bigger gaps in between as well. Nice to look at though, really nice to look at. I mean, if you were just looking for beading on your panel, they're both great. Alright, so that was low pressure water. Let's have a look at high pressure water and see how quickly the water clears each section of the panel. So you can see there, this sheets the water. That's very typical of many sealants. And this beads the water. It doesn't allow it to come together. It just wants to repel it really quickly. So if that's your kind of thing, this is really, really nice. This isn't going to allow the water to sheet. There is a difference also when it comes to clearing the panel with water. You can actually dry your panel with water if you've never seen that before. I'm just going to disconnect my pressure washer gun. If I remember to switch it off first, otherwise it'll go crazy. Now, I have a sheet of water here. If I try and sheet the water there, you can see it clears really, really quickly. So if I was to dry this panel with water, I could just draw a line and catch the beads to push them off. The sealant does the same thing, but it does it slightly slower. It sheets really well, and you can catch the water and draw it off. But if you look at the difference here, I can create a large sheet here, but on this side I can't really. It wants to break up. Really interesting to see the difference between the two. So we've seen how they behave with water. They look really good, but now I want to know how resilient they are as far as a chemical attack is concerned. Essentially, this is a sped up demonstration of washing your car and also attack from things like traffic film on the roads, especially in the winter time. Lots of muck and chemicals that get thrown up onto your car's paint. So I'm going to use a 10:1 dilution of Garage Therapy's Zero Decon shampoo. This is really good. This is what I use for attacking my products here. and I'm going to be using a soft bristled brush here, and essentially I'm just going to give everything a really good soak in this chemical, and we want to find out how well each of these products will last against this kind of chemical attack. So everything gets a good spray and then a light agitation. I'm not giving it loads of pressure here, I'm just letting the brush spread out to let the tips of the brush react and push that chemical around. It's not really properly pushing down. So, oh, I'm kicking the camera. This is giving everything an even going over. So that's now done, everything is covered. And that chemical is now attacking all of the protection products there. So let's give it a rinse. Honestly, both products have done absolutely brilliantly there. There may be the very, very slightest hint of damage to the protection or the abilities of the No1 Super Ceramic over there. The beads aren't quite as tight as they were, but this is a hell of an attack I've just given them. Otherwise, they're doing excellently well. Let's give it round number 2. Still both really good, honestly. Can't argue with any of this. I think it definitely helps to have the, if you're using the No1 Super Ceramic, to have it cure properly, because I tried this before, I didn't let it cure, and I noticed the difference. It is worth leaving it that 2 hours. Keep in mind, I haven't given it a second coat. This is just one coat, and it's doing really well just with that one coat. So think about how much better it might be with a second coat. After 3 attacks with this chemical, honestly, I think they're both standing out incredibly well. I have tested No1 Super Gloss before against some chemical attacks and against other products, and it was one of the better ones. It definitely was in the top 5 if I remember correctly, and I tested 10 in one go, and it did really well. So I was expecting this to do well. I wasn't sure how well this would last, the No1 Super Ceramic, but it's doing an incredible job. I cannot argue with it. It's standing up to the attacks really, really well. So with all the testing out of the way, which is better for you? If it comes to value for money alone, and you can buy the No1 Super Gloss for just a £5, which is totally possible in some places. I've seen people finding sales where they just cost £5. Regular retail price is £8 to £10. That's a good price in itself, but if you can get it for a £5, it's a steal. Don't bother with this, because that is excellent. If you can only get that for the regular retail price and you're looking at this one, if you like the extra gloss, depth of color, those lovely beautiful round beads, that kind of thing, then honestly, for 16 quid roughly, that is a really good product. It is pushing its price up to the enthusiast line of products, or even the semi-professional type of products and sealants. It is a bit more money than I would possibly spend for something like that. For that kind of money, I might spend my money elsewhere, but testing this, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. If you can get this on a deal for less than that, I say it's kind of a no-brainer. You've got to remember, these are the kind of products that you'll find in your local supermarket and Halfords and so on. If you don't know about other brands, you're relatively new to car care and detailing, and you want to still get something which is good quality and easy to use, these are super products. I cannot say that they're not, because I really honestly think they are. However, if you found this video interesting, useful, helpful, or entertaining, please do go ahead and smash that like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you ring the notification bell so you don't miss my next videos. In the meantime though, I've been Specky. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.